the woman was buried alive by a landslide. Struggling to survive, she forcefully drove a screwdriver upward and desperately began drilling through the roof of the car. But the moment she pulled the screwdriver out, liquid mud poured inside. She panicked instantly, but managed to plug the hole with a towel. The air grew thinner. She grabbed a folding chair, removed a hollow steel tube, sealed one end with a bottle cap, and began pushing it upward through the tiny opening. But the harder she pushed, the denser and heavier the mud became. She attached another tube, then another, but still no light appeared. Her hand was cut on the sharp edge of the tube, yet she refused to give up. Bracing her shoulder against her backpack, she kept pushing upward. After countless attempts, she finally managed to open a small channel to the outside world. But she hadn't forgotten that she had a score to settle with the man and the treacherous woman. It turned out that days earlier, the man and the deceitful woman had conspired to steal her fortune. By trickery, they had lured her right to the foot of the landslide. They took advantage of her blackout and left her locked inside the car, coldly watching as the mud engulfed her. Much later, she regained consciousness and realized she was surrounded by earth. The roof had caved in, mud was seeping through. In desperation, she tore a piece of duct tape with her teeth and patched the cracks. Then she propped up the glass with an umbrella. She barely stabilized the situation, but there was no time to rest, the danger had not passed. She banged on the window, cried for help, but all around was silence. Without water or phone signal, she knew she could not allow herself to die. She had to survive, to make them pay. Meanwhile, the man and the treacherous woman put on a show of grief before the cameras. Pretending to weep over her death, they used the tragedy to seize control of the company. But her loyal assistant publicly asked why they were unharmed while only she had disappeared. He demanded they go into the mountains and search for her. The man pretended to pull out a pen to end his own life. The treacherous woman theatrically restrained him in tears, but the assistant ignored their act and insisted they find the body to uncover the truth. Feigning sorrow, the men declared that due to the landslide, it was impossible to find her, and rescuers must not risk themselves. Then, with a sinister smile, he said they would wait until the rain stopped. At that moment, the woman remembered how they had all been driving together. And how she had blacked out right after drinking the water given to her by her best friend. Realizing everything, she swore she would make them pay. She collected falling water into a bottle, but the air was running out, and her vision began to darken. Still, she held on, thinking of her family and her revenge against the men. Meanwhile, the man and the treacherous woman visited her parents in the hospital. They hypocritically begged forgiveness, claiming it was all their fault, that the company had fallen into chaos, and that her parents' involvement was needed. Her ailing father agreed to temporarily hand over management. The men promised to find him the best doctor. Back at the company, the treacherous woman lingered in the office, dreaming of a life of luxury. But the assistant gathered the shareholders, expelled them both, and declared, as long as her death is not officially confirmed, no one will replace her. Then he himself led the search party. The trapped woman lit a fire to create smoke, hoping someone would see the signal. Luckily, the assistant was climbing the mountain and noticed the smoke. He rushed toward the spot. But at that very moment, right behind them, appeared the man and the treacherous woman.